Okay, let's add some context of the specific challenges that women and children face because of climate change. I think Cristina Figueres or somebody from Oxfam once said that climate change is not gender neutral. Obviously, it affects poor people more disproportionately, and among them, women and children face some unique challenges in social equity, health, education, food, and gender equality. For example, households in which no girl or woman has completed at least 6 years of schooling make up nearly 2/3 of those experiencing multidimensional poverty globally. So this is the multidimensional poverty: access to healthcare, education, food, and in terms of social equity and gender equality. Meeting contraceptive needs of women reduces maternal mortality. Serious issue there. About 30% of children and adolescents in sub-Saharan Africa and about 20% of children and adolescents in South Asia do not attend primary or secondary school. Of children who never enter primary school, 3/4 are girls from rural, under-resourced communities. Okay? Talking about contraceptives, educating women at least for 6 years, for example, is a natural contraceptive and leads to lower fertility rates and ultimately lower population and hopefully lower consumption, which is not the case yet in terms of fewer children and reducing consumption. They don't go together, but let's leave it there. Children who attend school experience lower levels of stunting and wasting than those who do not. Okay, high quality universal education and rights-based voluntary family planning are essential human rights that can help to address gender inequality. Okay, so equal access to high quality education for girls and boys and rights-based voluntary family planning contribute to enhanced well-being and well-being in low and middle income countries. This is well documented. So coming back to access to electricity then, the Solar Sister program in sub-Saharan Africa generates multiple human well-being benefits for women through the provision of solar power and clean cooking. These are the various numbers here. 170% increase in lighting hours after sunset. 90% of parents reported improvements in children's academic performances. Beautiful. 31% spent kerosene savings on education, and 54% spent kerosene savings on food and water. That's massive. 24% of households started new businesses, and 31% of households reported an increase in income. Okay. Continuing then to another cluster of solutions, human well-being benefits of climate solutions for fostering equality, health and education. So here we are looking at a potential additional drawdown by 2050 of 69 gigatons with direct co-benefits in these sectors or dimensions of human well-being: health, food, income and work, gender equality and education, with indirect co-benefits in these various things also as water and sanitation, networks, housing, energy, social equity, peace and justice, political voice. Okay, so summarizing, climate solutions co-benefits for human well-being in the climate solutions groups: improve agriculture and agroforestry, remind ourselves, protect and restore ecosystems, adopt clean cooking, provide clean electricity and foster equality, with descending estimates of additional carbon storage going from 277.6 gigatons CO2 equivalent for agriculture and agroforestry down to 68.9 gigatons CO2 equivalent for fostering equality. And looking at the maximum benefits, income and work have the greatest well-being dimension in improvement, and political voice has the least in terms of gigaton CO2 equivalent. Okay, no, sorry, that's in terms of well-being index. So co-benefits for dimensions of human well-being from each of these solution groups have direct and indirect benefits on the various dimensions, and you can see that fostering equality has not so much impact on carbon drawdown, but it has a great impact on all dimensions of the well-being index. So obviously there is a mapping needed that's not just about carbon drawdown, but also about helping poverty and fostering equality and so on. And these of course map well onto the Sustainable Development Goals. Some examples here: securing land tenure for women leads to more household income, improved food security and higher crop yields, reduced gender-based violence, increased women's income and agency, which is their ability to act in their own decisions and environmental decisions. Higher proportion of household income used for education, higher proportion of household income used for housing. Okay, so these are the strengthening land rights for women, providing many human well-being benefits. Other examples include the Tungen Integrate Solutions, the projects like Tungen, which integrate solutions for improving people's livelihoods and health, and protecting and managing the natural resources they rely on. So they project onto the dimensions we have been looking at here. I won't go into the details, but they include all of them. So the key actions to foster synergistic solutions. I'll come back to some more examples of projects with co-benefits that have already been implemented. This is just kind of a summary of climate poverty solutions. Implement the 28 climate solutions we discussed here in terms of 5 clusters, in synergistic ways that maximize co-benefits for boosting multiple components of human well-being. Secondly, listen to and partner with diverse stakeholders to identify and carry out activities that simultaneously advance climate and poverty solutions. Thirdly, include human well-being when developing multi-sectoral climate finance. Fourthly, accelerate the development of innovative finance for climate solutions that also advance human well-being. Just mitigation may only focus on the carbon, but we need other indices like Sustainable Development Goals and human well-being indices to be tracked as well. Finally, research, discover and share additional climate poverty co-benefits. Another example, Harioban in Nepal, which means green forest, with many benefits to both climate and human well-being over a 10-year period. The Climate Smart Village project in northern India implemented irrigation and fertilizer efficiency, composting and clean cook stoves while advancing women's decision-making authority and establishing new businesses. The Gorongosa National Park in Mozambique focuses on both conservation and poverty alleviation while addressing nearly all of the Sustainable Development Goals. Okay, so that's a brief run through a very comprehensive report focused on climate and poverty nexus, but it provides detailed human well-being index based on 12 dimensions, and it provides clusters of solutions. The whole project drawdown offers 100 top solutions for drawdown of carbon heading to 2050, with estimates of investment needed and net benefits resulting from that, and each one has a estimated amount of additional carbon drawdown as well, which I have in my drawdown course, as I mentioned. Here additional mapping is done for climate and poverty reduction in terms of improving human well-being index with these clusters of solutions with direct benefits, indirect benefits and ripple effects on these 12 dimensions of human well-being index, and estimates of additional carbon sequestration by 2050 as well. So you can hardly be more comprehensive. Implementation and financial needs and implementation of finances, the tools to incentivize these solutions are also provided. So obviously Project Drawdown focuses on this full time, and they have lots of details on their websites, including podcasts, courses if you want to train yourselves, and so on. So I'm a huge fan of this project, as well as the solutions offered, especially things like agroforestry, which have additional benefits of sequestering more carbon in the soil, which improves soil structure, soil moisture retention, groundwater recharge, crop yields, nutrient retention, erosion reduction, and so on. So these core benefits are listed, as well as other solutions we discussed under agroforestry and agriculture, like silvopasture and so on. So you can follow up the details elsewhere, but this report is something that you need to go through if you're interested in more details, because I gave a very brief run through the whole thing. Okay, let me leave it here.